Hello, it's been a long time since we've had one of these nice little fireside chats, hasn't it? So I didn't want to take a whole lot of time today, but I just had this thing that happened to me last night, and it'll be a couple of nights ago by the time you see it. But it was just it's something that weighed on me, and I want to let you experience it with me now. See, I have another channel called Experiment Cephas. And I'll link to a video at the end of this because it's worth checking out if you like some kind of crazy stuff. But sometimes I get the question, like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why did you make this? And so I just wanted to give you a little peek behind the curtain as far as where some of the inspiration comes from, okay? Sometimes I have dreams, like really, really jacked up dreams. And I think I have an Experiment Cephas surreal theater little animation that I could probably do. I say animation, it's more glorified comic book. But anyway, a surreal theater video that I could do based off this, and I need to somehow storyboard that. But if I don't, or even if I do, I still just wanted to have a moment where I offloaded like the raw material just to show you where this comes from. And this isn't me trying to be cute. This isn't me trying to convince you how quirky I am. It's literally just me kind of telling you, like, this is part of the reason why I do what I do here, is because I have these things that pop up and I've got to pursue them in some way. So, story time. I don't remember the exact, because the longer you go without a dream, right? And that's part of the reason why I'm going ahead and recording it now. The longer you go without knowing, without a dream, the less details you remember about it. And there's some parts of it that I don't remember in extreme detail. There was like an interlude part where sometimes I have these dreams where it's like I'm trying to like move, like go to a new apartment or something like that, or whatever. So there was some of that in here somewhere in the mouse. I don't know. That's part of it, but it's not the main idea, right? The main idea, so capture this if you will. In my dream, we being me and my wife, we are in our bedroom, but it's not our bedroom. It's not our house. It's like one of the houses that I lived in when I was a kid. And like we wake up and it's like 3-something in the morning, and I'm looking, like all the lights are on, and I'm looking at her and she's sitting up kind of giving me like one of these kind of smiles, right? And I'm looking at her and I'm looking past her toward the door. I'm like, why are all the lights on? What's going on? She's like, don't worry about it. Okay, so we for some reason decide to get out of bed and just go hang out in the living room, even though it's like 3:30 in the morning, whatever. So we're on our way, and our little dog lives in the hallway when we're not there with the baby gate. Well, he's got like a series of baby gates that he's just jumping and like crawling over. I'm like, this dog is not this athletic normally, and that should have been my tell that it was a dream. But anyway, whatever. So we're sitting in like the living room. And it's not our living room, but it's like a living room I had when I was a kid. And there's this great big window, and I can see our neighbors across the street. Now, keep in mind, it's 3:30 in the morning in dream time, okay? So I'm looking out across the street, and I see like a utility truck parked on the roof of the house kind of catty-cornered across from us. And I was like, boo-boo, why is there a truck on that roof over there? And then we got to looking at it some more, and turns out that there were some men working on the roof for the house across the street from us. And I was like, oh, okay, because in my mind, it made perfect sense for that truck to be up there, right? And there's like 3 or 4 dudes up there re-shingling a roof. Well, in my mind, again, at 3:30 in the morning, I'm thinking like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because it's not hot during that time. Okay, cool. Hey, we could probably stand to have our roof re-shingled too. Let me go talk to them. So I go to stand up, and all of a sudden they're like in like our room with us, like in our living room. And like we was almost in their way somehow. Right. And I'm talking to them, and I'm kind of going over we don't really need it right now, but maybe here in a few months or whatever, we could maybe negotiate something. They're like, yeah, absolutely. And like, I start to look at these guys, and I don't know how to put it. Like, they look like regular people, but different, kind of like the alternates thing that's been kind of popular for some time now, where they're almost like people, but they're not quite. Like the main guy who kind of spoke for everybody, like his eyes were like, his facial features were really shallow, and like his eyes were like really glazed over and very small. And there were other people, they just looked different. Like they looked kind of shaped in weird, like not entirely people shaped, if that makes sense, right? But they were nice, and they were like, oh yeah, this guy, he signs our paycheck. I'll be glad to work for him. Other than that, I wouldn't have a job. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. So I go to sit down on my phone and like take down his information for later, and he starts repeating his name, and it's like Michael Clark Duncan or something. I like I said, it's starting to get fuzzy now, but as I'm starting to pull out my phone and click in all the digits and everything, you know how you're not supposed to be able to do math in your dream? Well, as I'm sitting there clicking out the thing, it's like my brain's saying, okay, wake up, wake up, wake up. And he's repeating his name, but it's a little bit different and a little bit more distorted each time. And so finally I wake up and I'm like, oh, what the hell, you know? And I look over and it's 3:30 on my clock on the bedside table. And I said, so I'm kind of laying there. I feel like I'm hearing noises in the house that aren't the cat knocking something over. And I'm kind of just trying to, okay, that was a weird dream. Let me get back to sleep. So I get back to sleep. Okay, so the second dream, for some reason or another, I'm in like a Hunger Games Battle Royale kind of thing all of a sudden. And I don't know if it's like a friendly game because it's like some people I'm on friendly terms with who are playing the game with me and it was just for fun, or if it was actually to like not, die or whatever. But I'm doing what I can, and I'm doing well. Like we've got modern day weapons and stuff, not like super high tech things, but rifles and the such. And I'm kind of holding my own, and I'm like able to somehow like cloak myself and spy on people like a ring of villainy that's like trying to sabotage it, or they have one person like in mind that they're going to pick out, and one guy's like, I just want to punch him and maybe chew on him a little bit. It was like Ray Romano's brother, kind of, that guy, if you can imagine it, right? And so we're doing some stuff, and I'm going around, and I'm, getting a few pics and everything. Well, there comes a point where me and this guy that we kind of have an understanding, I don't even know who he is, he's just some dude that my brain made up. Me and this guy that we have an understanding that we're not gonna off each other, right? We're in like this house, and we're on a staircase kind of going down the side wall of this house. And we turn and we could see the first floor, like it's one of those kind of like angled banisters coming down. Well, we can see the first floor where there's a few other people, and outside the door there's all these really, really tall, like lanky, disfigured, like stretched out people. Like we can't see like the top part of their torso up. We just see legs and like arms hanging down. And in the dream, I just knew like you don't mess with those. Those are like clickers from the rest of us or the last of us or whatever it's called. There's like, it's almost like a fungus kind of thing. Like you run from those things. And they were congregating, and there was like dozens of them all congregating outside the door, and a few of them starting to kind of like slip inside the door. And like the part of me that wanted to win or live was like, maybe I should like make a noise and then just hightail it out of here in the confusion. But before I did that, somebody else made a noise, and then it was just and all this stuff started happening. So then me and the guy that was on the staircase kind of watching all this, we ran. Okay, so fast forward a little bit more. All of a sudden, like I said, a few other things happen. If I'm going to do a surreal theater video for this, I'm going to have to string this together in a slightly more cohesive way. But at some point, we get through it. A couple more pics here and there. It's sort of spotty, blam, blam, blam. And all of a sudden, me and, again, my wife are sitting on a couch in the middle of like this great big open mountain range. And it's like either sunrise or sunset. It's twilight, sort of overcast kind of skyscape, right? And who should be there but Shaquille O'Neal, basketball commentator and former NBA superstar Shaquille O'Neal, standing there congratulating us on being number 2 and 3. He was number 1, obviously, but we were number 2 and 3, and we were the ones who basically outlasted everybody else, and therefore we got to some sort of prize or some sort of position and some sort of something for being 2 and 3. And I was like, damn, Shaq, that's really cool, but I'm really tired, so I'm just going to sit on this couch that's in the middle of the woods here, and I'm going to think on this for a little bit longer. And that was the end of the dream. So, dream psychologists, astrologists, people who think they know something about what happened, Let me know what you think happened. Let me know what you think all that means, because I would like to know what all that means. Of course, when I told my wife about when I woke up, her first thing was, well, alternates and weird stuff. And yeah, because of course it all happened around 3 o'clock, which, you know, the witching hour and everything. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying this to be quirky. I'm not saying it to be cute. I didn't make a single bit of this up. This is all stuff that happened, and I'm more or less doing this to have like video record of it for when I inevitably forget for later. So thank you very much for listening. Go look at the Experiment Cephas channel. Continue to subscribe to this channel because it's cool. I'll link one of my more recent and favorite videos for the Experiment Cephas channel on the end of this. And be looking out for whatever I do over there. I guess this was like a low-key promo for Experiment Cephas, and also just kind of a moment to talk, because we don't talk very much anymore, and I just like to talk to you sometimes. So thank you very much again, and until next time, bye.